Hello everybody, it is What If Universe, and I am doing my commentary for episode 2. And it's quite exciting here because there's a lot of changes that actually happened. I do have my voice reel at the end of the commentary where basically it's all my cut lines for this episode in particular. However, let's get rolling with this.
The following is a non-profit fan-based parody.
Anyways, for people who don't know, SSB Ace, he does the voice for Hercule in this. And this video actually got struck down by a supposedly fake Toei Animation studio, which, that is hard for me to confirm, but look, I'm gonna be real, I honestly think it was. They deleted the account, there was no way to do anything about that. Now, when we get to my character, which is gonna be coming up here in a little bit, it's not actually my voice. The guy with like the green suit there that's next to Trunks, that was the guy that was supposed to voice, but due to me being on vacation and stuff, it didn't end up happening, you know, so that's what happened with that. And the Christmas motif element, I think that was something that surprised me when I first was reading the script here, because it's interesting you don't understand what's going on with the script writing process sometimes, because when you're not the main creator or writer. But I think it's interesting when you get to a point, it's like, oh, this is why we're doing this. It's like, it's kind of interesting. Anyways, welcome to the different version of Dan Dan. Now, something I wanted to do was to actually change up each cover Dan Dan we use, but I'm not too sure if that will end up happening or not, knowing the big three, but maybe I can negotiate that. That's just something silly that I honestly want to happen, personally. Alright, now we're picking back up. Now, I think it's a lot nicer with how well the performance of Chi-Chi is in this episode compared to the previous one, because Kamehameha Mami, like, I believe that's her username, she really went all out with that character. And the change that Vegeta used the Dragon Balls to wish for his mustache, that was a great gag there. I thought that was hilarious. And it's kind of interesting here, because every time I watch GT and I look at Gohan's hair, he reminds me of the protagonist from the third Dragon's Quest game. Like, I don't know if y'all get that vibe, but I do sometimes. And I do like the reference to Space Jam we did right here. Like, it was really unexpected for me, but it was really funny. Now, Goku's response line did change a couple of times, but there weren't too much significance of what he was going to say later afterwards anyways.
I don't think there's this many colors.
Hey, can I help?
Oh, thanks, Pen, but this is way too advanced even for me. Go see what Mom is up to.
And, like in the original, you have similar elements where Pan is basically not allowed to go into space, so you have stuff like this.
Sorry, Pan.
And fun fact, this was one of the scenes that the Toei Animation thing actually struck. It was this scene, and there's another upcoming scene that we're gonna get to where they took down the video. And at the time of me recording this, episode 1 is also not up, so it's quite unfortunate what's happening to Dragon Ball GT Abridged at the moment. It's like we're reaching a point where stuff's just getting taken down, which is insane. Let's see. Alright, here we go. Now this is this thing that Mr. Satan's JoJo or Hercule or however you want to call it. This video is probably getting demonetized anyways, I don't really care. But anyways, this was this thing that was also claimed by the fake Toei Animation. Now what's sad about this thing in particular is that SSB Ace just kills it as Hercule here. Like, it was, even though he has very few lines in this episode, like, I wish we could have heard more from him. Honestly, like, I know there is that ice cream thing we cut, actually, but that was mostly due because we couldn't really come up with anything worth writing for the scene, because even in the original it wasn't that good of a scene. And there are moments in GT where it is like that. And the voice of Trunks, for people who don't know, that's Smugstick actually, and he does a really good job at voicing Trunks here, in my opinion, heavily. And I would say, like, of all the characters, I would pick him as, like, second, as who did the best job here, in my opinion. Because I think episode 2, like, it's way better than episode 1, in my opinion, personally, because for one, I think everyone's quality of their mics went up a little bit, and I think because we learned actually how to do stuff better, we actually got things worked out. Okay, I love the gimmick there that Goten had Dragon Ball GT theme song as his ringtone. That was a great edit right there. Like, and also, if you weren't watching the background, you have some gameplay on that TV back there. And now we cut the scene where Pan and them, and they're about to blast off right into space, which is pretty similar to the original. Now, I do think another thing I like to mention is that there's a particular scene in here where Vidal's eyes weren't the right color, so we actually had to color correct it. And there's also a couple custom lip flaps that were actually painted that we had to end up doing, which is quite interesting. And also I like the new transition we used, because in the previous episode we used a pre-made transition that was done for the original Dragon Ball GT series, and in episode 2 we made our own. And I think the moment when they're going to space is like great. It's like, we're all gonna die. It's like, nobody's gonna die. Like, I like the portrayal with Smugstick's version of Trunks here, especially because it's like, he has to literally babysit these kids, except Goku's just turned into a kid. He just acts differently, I guess. I don't know. GT has a really interesting plot hole thing there, because Goku could still kept his intelligence and just still been a body of a kid, but I guess how the wish was defined is kind of tricky. Now for Giru, this is one part when we started using R2-D2 noises as his dialogue, which, in my opinion, I didn't like the decision, but after seeing it actually play out, I sort of changed my mind with it, because it works pretty well with how his eye flashes and everything, but for me, sometimes I get too lazy to read the dialogue, because that's why I don't like to watch subbed anime personally. Like, there was one time when I had to watch something subbed, but it's because there was no other dub of it. Now, I do think the Maximum Overdrive reference to SpongeBob, now that was great. Like, that was funny. Like, I don't know. Like, that was kind of funny. Like, I don't condone joke stealing too often, but I do think when you change the context up a bit, it is kind of funny. I don't know, I think that's something that you might catch or might not if you watch that particular SpongeBob episode. I think Giru's like line of paper being my arch nemesis, that was a great line right there.
All this walking is giving me scoliosis.
Did this all fart just interrupt me?
You mean arthritis?
Yeah, the arthritis joke, I think it was fine, but I think it went a little too long, in my opinion. I don't know, that's just me. Second transition there. And there we go, instant transmission. That was a pretty decent transition there.
I swear this has never happened to me before.
And there we go, we are at the end here. Now we have the outro playing with all the credits and all that fun stuff. Unfortunately that you can't see it on my video, but I'm sure if you're watching this coinciding with the original, hopefully, if those episodes ever come back up, that would be great, but until that happens, like, I don't know, that's just how things go sometimes. Now, I think the team at of the Dragon Ball Network, that's pretty nice. I think so far everything's turning out pretty well. And also in this episode we still use the older Dragon Ball Network logo as well, which we've recently updated. But anyways, that is the end of that there. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Sorry there wasn't as much to talk about here in this particular episode because there were changes to it. It was cut a bit faster. There were definitely changes in dialogue, but I think the overall tone is quite similar to the original episode 2, besides it being a bit funnier, in my opinion. I think that we did have a couple better jokes than the original for sure. But I don't know, that's the end of this commentary. If you want me to do a commentary on episode 3, let me know. I have things that definitely are gonna change for that one. But for now, I'm just gonna say I hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to check out the original episode again if you have not already, if you're only listening to my commentary for whatever reason. And I hope you all enjoyed this commentary, and I will see you all in the next commentary. So see ya. Mr. President, how was the meme with King Furry? Great news! We also need to plan the company Christmas party.
Oh, Nancy, don't forget I have a meeting at 2 o'clock.
My wife left me and took the kids. Hey, you catch the game last night? I heard the Titans only lost by 20 this time. I quit watching the Titans long ago, kid. Ever since the Desert Bandit left, it hasn't been the same since. Well, guys, I'm going for a coffee run. Who wants pumpkin spice lattes? Oh man, where'd the day go? It's almost lunchtime. Mr. President, how was the meme with King Furry? Mr. President, how was the meme with King Furry? Mr. President, how was the meme with King Furry? Ah, the President! Mr. President, how was the meme with King Furry? Great news! We also need to plan the company Christmas party.